The Cost to Raise Someone's Child, Part 2. The Cost to Raise Someone's Child, Part 2. What's up, everybody? My name is Kier, and you are watching The Important Things That Really Matter. Today, we're going to be talking about the cost to raise someone's child, Part 2. Now, today, what we're going to be discussing is on Part 1, we talked about the costs associated with raising a child up to 18. One of the things that you should understand, which is extremely important for you to understand, is that once that child hits 18, their cost shoots up exponentially. Why does a child's cost shoot up exponentially after they turn 18 years old? Or after they turn 18 years old, they're on their way to college. Uh-oh. Did you hear what I said? After 18 years old, many children are on their way to college. So if you happen to be dealing with a woman who has one or more children that's older than 18, more than likely, they're probably going to be going to a college or university. And guess who the lady, your girlfriend or your wife, is going to be expecting to help pay for her kid or kids by another man or another men, plural. Guess who she's going to be expecting to help pay for their college tuition? You. That's right, you. So now we're talking about the cost to raise someone's child past 18. The reason why these costs go up significantly is because once they get past 18, you may have to possibly buy them a car. So there's thousands upon thousands of dollars to buy them a car. It's going to cost thousands upon thousands of dollars to buy car insurance for this kid or kids who are now at their age a high risk insurance person. 18 years old, they're high risk. So you're going to be paying a lot of money. And if you happen to be living in Michigan is supposed, especially in the Detroit area of Michigan, it's about to my understanding, one insurance person told me that Michigan, especially in the Detroit area, has some of the highest car insurance rates in the entire country. Did you hear what I just said? Michigan, and especially in the Metro Detroit area, specifically in Detroit, has some of the highest car insurance rates in the whole country. And this is an insurance person that told me this. I'm like, wow. I said, are you serious? He's like, yeah. Okay. So now, do you see how your costs grow up exponentially once that child turns 18 years old, actually over 18 years old? You may end up having to buy them a car, which is going to be thousands upon thousands of dollars. You're going to have to end up paying for high car insurance, because they are at their age of 18 or 19 are going to be a high risk person that they are expecting to get into a car accident. And if they get into a car accident, the high insurance that you're already paying is going to be even higher. Okay. And we're not even so we're just talking about the cost of a car, the cost for car insurance. We're not even talking about we haven't even talked about yet the cost of going to a college or university. There was a woman that I was kind of liking a little bit, and I was trying to get to know her a little bit. And I found out what university she went to. When she told me what university she went to, I was like, oh wow, I went to the rival university that you went to. And so I said, so she told me the university she went to. And so when she said that, I don't know why, but I guess due to my mind was in the automotive engineer mindset at the time. And when she told me she went to this university, I'm like, oh, you're in at least $100,000. And I said it out loud too. I said, you're in at least $100,000 worth of student loan debt. And she looked at me like this. She looked at me like, that meant, oh, not $100,000. She was more like $150,000 in student loan debt. And instead of her going back to school, instead of her graduating and getting a job in her field and starting to pay the money back, she decided to stay in school and get a master's degree. So you could tack on another $50,000 to that debt. This woman was, I estimated, was in $200,000 in student loan debts. So we're actually talking about children. We're talking about her children that's 18 years old. Now, if this person that I just told you about, after graduating from this Big Ten university, I also graduated from a Big Ten university, that woman, I estimated, was in about $200,000 of student loan debt. Now, one thing that you don't understand is that these are part of the costs that may end up being your costs for someone else's child that doesn't even have your DNA in them, okay? So these things you need to take into consideration. Is it going to be worth dating somebody with kids that might need a car, that might need, let's say for instance, this woman has 2 children. They're both 18 years old. You've been seeing her for a little bit. She's looking at you. She think you should buy both of her kids cars. She think you should get car insurance for both of her kids. You're gonna be paying a crazy amount of money for cars and car insurance for 2 kids. We're not even talking about the amount of money you're gonna have to spend sending them to a college or university. Then we're not even talking about room and board at the college or university, all these things. And in it, are you hearing what I'm saying? All these costs I'm talking about: car insurance, cars for 1 or 2 kids, money to help pay for college tuition, money to pay for room and board, okay? Now, here's another factor that you need to take in consideration too. There are a lot of people, a lot of young adults that then went off to school, and you might think this is great. Okay, you're getting with this woman, her kids are out of the house, they're going off to school. Great, I'm doing good. If you marry this woman, there's no guarantee her kids may come back from school early. They may not even finish college. Well, who are they gonna stay with? They're gonna stay with you and your wife. Of course, these are her kids, so they're gonna move right into your house. You hear me? They may not even finish school. They may do 1 or 2 years of school, then end up coming back home. They don't have no place to stay. So now they're moving back in, her kids are moving back with her. They're gonna go where their mama's at. Well, she's living with you now. So now you come in one day and her adult kids have moved into your house. Happens. You ought to see the situation. This is one thing. Now I'm gonna say fair use, all right? Oh, before I go on to it, would you please like, would you please share, would you please subscribe, would you please like, would you please share, would you please subscribe, because I'm trying to get this channel to grow, and I appreciate any help that you can give me. Now, back to the story. You want to share this with a lot of people too. Share this with a lot of people. Now, make sure you go back to part 1 so you can see how much it's going to cost to raise that child from 0 to 18. Anyway, now, there was a guy, and I did say fair use. There was a guy married to this woman. This guy is a stepdad, okay? He goes and talks to his wife. He talks to his wife and says, listen, your son is still living here with us. We're still feeding him. He has never left. When is he going to leave? Why don't you encourage your son to leave the home? Because the stepdad is tired of seeing him in the house, number one, and it's not his kid. That's number one. Number two, he's tired of paying for this adult male who doesn't seem to be interested in going to get his own place. That's number two. So he talks with the wife, says, hey, honey, you need to talk to your son about getting his own place and getting a job, and so he maintains his own place. And so this kid, who is an adult kid who never really left home, this kid is almost 30 years old. Did you hear what I said? This kid is almost 30 years old. So not only if you are dating a woman who has adult kids, that you may end up having to pay for a car note, you may have to, or two, or insurance for two people, two adult or kids, and you might end up being helping to pay for student loans and other school costs. And even after you've done all this, the adult child or adult children, once they leave, they may end up coming back. So now you're paying for them to go out there. They may not finish school. And now they're coming back home with you and your wife. You thought that they were gone. Now they feel like they can't make it on their own unless they stay at home with mama, and mama stays in your house. And you can't not really necessarily put them out of your house. You know, you can let them stay there for a while, but that little bit of while can end up turning into some years, as I'm talking in reference to this. Now, in one particular situation, the kid is leaving, has left to go off to college, but they may end up coming back home. And then there's other situation, if you date a woman that has an adult kid, okay, the kid may never leave. Did you hear what I said? The kid may never leave. This man adult child was almost 30 years old. The stepfather had a right to talk to the mother, telling her, you need to tell him to go find his own place and move out.